Hello. If you're wondering why I look like a gnome troll right now, it's because I don't give a shit. I woke up at 4 a.m. in the middle of the night because my uterus decided to beat the shit out of itself for no fucking reason other than the fact that I'm a woman. Everything hurts and I am dying. I also have really weird stains on my sweatshirt right now because literally before filming this, I choked on my water bottle. My life is in shambles right now. The only way to really mark this momentous occasion is to film a video of my crusty looking ass. I mean, my coworkers already know about these videos, so how can this point get any lower, really? You know what booktubers do when they have no idea what to film? They do a book tag. That's about it. So that's what I'm gonna do today because I am a basic bitch. Today, I am gonna do the no disclaimers book tag. This video is in dedication to a commenter named Cutico who left a comment saying, "Cindy, darling, when will you do the no disclaimers tag? I've been waiting for the tea to be served." To which I replied, I'm actually thinking of filming it this week. And that was a straight up lie because I did not film it that week or the next week or any other week until now. But sweet, sweet, naive Cutico replied, I'm like, yes, bitch. I'm having such a moment, Renault. Let me faint real quick. Scouting hot tea is about to be served. Yes. Sis, are you having a stroke? I appreciate the enthusiasm though, and to be honest, this tag is something that I've been meaning to do for a while. I actually have been tagged by 6 different people to do this, and those people are Majority Marginalized, Yogi with a Book, Anna Reads, Crescent Moon Reads, Brittany the Bibliophile, and Katie's Book Nook. So after I filmed this video, I was tagged once again by Miss Coco Chen. Listen, I know, okay? I'm finally doing the fucking tag. Everyone who has tagged me will be linked in the description, so leave me the fuck alone. I know it's been a long time coming, and I know that with this kind of tag, people expect me to spill the tea or to be brutally honest. But to be fair, aren't all my videos basically no disclaimers anyway? Like, when have I actually ever made a disclaimer whenever I made a negative comment about anything? I don't think I have, and I really shouldn't be because I think disclaimers when it comes to unpopular opinions or negative opinions about a book are completely pointless. I mean, I understand people not wanting to offend anyone, but those people are going to be offended anyway, regardless of whether you put a disclaimer or not. And the people who understand that you don't mean to offend them are not going to need a disclaimer anyway. So why are we wasting each other's time, right? Like, let's just get straight to the point. But I don't think that for this tag, I really will have that much tea or whatever to spill. I don't think I really have any controversial opinions that would warrant a disclaimer, but your girl ran out of video ideas, so that's what we're gonna have to do. So the first question is, which trope or tropes in books annoy you the most? And already I'm not gonna give a very exciting answer to this question because I actually genuinely believe that there is no bad trope. I believe that it is possible for any trope to be done well. The problem is that most people don't really execute it that well, but it can be done, and it's not really the trope's fault necessarily. It's more so on the author to be more creative with solving narrative problems. There's no such thing as like an original idea. Stories are all made out of tropes. I don't think there should be like a negative connotation to a trope. I think the most popular annoying tropes that come to mind are the chosen one trope and the love triangle trope and, dear God, even the love square trope. And as much as I have hated those 3 in a certain book series called the Grisha trilogy, I still think that it could have been done well. And usually the way that I think tropes can be executed well is if they were subverted. For example, the chosen one is a really annoying trope, but I do think a good example of how it kind of subverted that trope is The Legend of Basara, which is a shoujo manga back in the 90s that I thought was really well done. In the manga series, there were 2 twins that were born, a boy and a girl, and a prophet says that one of them is the chosen one who will grow up to be the hero and take down the evil ruler of their country. So naturally, everyone in the village believes that the boy twin is the chosen one, and they hail him up to be the hero, while the girl twin is kind of left in the sidelines and forgotten about. But then later when they turn 16, the boy twin actually gets killed, and then the girl twin ends up having to disguise herself as that chosen one in order to still have hope for the rest of the village. So I thought that was a really good example of the chosen one trope, especially because you could argue that she was technically the chosen one all along, but the way that it was executed makes you actually want to root for the main character, even though it's technically a cliche. The love triangle trope between two girls and a guy is also very annoying, which is why I hated the first season of Legend of Korra, but I do think that in the end, they subverted that trope. If you know what I mean. Wink, wink. If you've seen it, you know what I mean. Basically, I think any trope can be done well. It's just a matter of how you approach it. Number 2, which writer or writers do you feel are overrated / overhyped? So I think the most popular answers for this would be Cassandra Clare or Sarah J. Maas, but I actually have not read either of those authors, so I can't really confirm or deny that. Hi, just wanted to pop in and say that after filming this video, I actually did end up reading Sarah J. Maas. I read A Court of Thorns and Roses, and I will be posting a video review with my thoughts on it. So keep an eye out for that. I will say that based on the authors that I have read, the answer that you might not expect would be Renee Ahdieh. I've read a couple of books by her and I just don't like them at all. She's written some pretty popular fantasy YA series like The Wrath in the Dawn and A Flame in the Mist, and both of them have been hailed as very richly told feminist stories, and I don't really agree with that. What I've noticed in her writing is that she explicitly tells the reader that the main character is strong and cunning and brave and smart, but very rarely does the main character actually show that. It's really just being told with no proof. Like all the other characters are like, wow, you woman are the bravest and strongest of them all. And I'm like, bitch, where? There's a lot of themes for female empowerment in her stories, but they feel very shallow and lightweight to me. And again, I just don't think that being told something is feminist is the same as showing that something is feminist. Like, you know what I mean? But I think a lot of people tend to overhype her type of books because we're so desperate for more feminism in our books. And also, it's very rare to see Asian representation in books. So even if the book itself is not that great, I think people just get so blinded by the fact that there's an Asian character and an own voices book that they will wholeheartedly support it regardless of like the actual quality of the book, which, you know, I think is fine on your own accord, but for me, I need more. Speaking of Asian representation, I am currently finalizing the details for the Asian Readathon happening in May, so keep an eye out for that because there will be an official announcement video that will take place soon. And this official announcement will actually cross the span of 2 videos that are going to be posted 2 days in a row. You'll find out. You can't just call your main character independent and strong and brave if her feelings are going to be so easily swayed by an abusive man. Number 3, what are your least favorite books you've read since joining BookTube? You know, it's weird. A book doesn't really come to my mind right away, and I'm not sure if that's because I blocked them out of my memory. I mean, I really didn't like the Grisha trilogy, but maybe I'm just thinking of that because that's the most recent disliked book that I've read. The last 1-star rating that I gave during the time that I've been on BookTube is The Art of Creative Thinking by Rod Judkins. I remember that to be just a very bland book that tried to disguise its disorganizational style as creativity. And also, he just kept on referencing very generic quotes by stereotypically famous people, including Trump and Woody Allen. So, ill. Number 4, a terrible ending that ruined an otherwise quality book. So I actually talked about this in my January wrap-up, but I was very let down by The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood because I was very engaged throughout the book, but by the time I read the ending, it felt very incomplete. But the more I think about it, I feel like maybe it wasn't really the ending that I had a problem with, but in general how the author hadn't really expanded the world building and explained the concepts behind their new dystopian society throughout the novel, because as I was reading it, I kept on thinking that she would explain it. She just never did. And that's not really the ending's fault, because I feel like I could have liked the ending anyway if the author had just filled in the cracks for literally everything else in the story. Ironically, when I don't like a book, I actually like the ending the best, because that means it's finally over. Number 5, which fictional characters do you wish were not killed off? I'm not gonna say it because that would be spoilers, but if you know my brand, if you've seen my live show, you know who the fuck I'm talking about. You know who I cried about till 3 a.m. and you know that I will never be the same. When it happened, when the scene happened, I was broken. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. Number 6, what are some of your bookish pet peeves? I really hate book covers that have actual people on it, like when they have stock image models. I just think it looks super tacky. They just remind me too much of like trashy romance novellas that get sold at the grocery store. I also feel like it's not very creative at all, because it's basically a wasted opportunity to create a really beautiful book cover where you could have had some original illustrations or pattern work or pretty much anything but some random Becky that you found on PhotoBucket. And to make it even worse, I especially hate it when they use white models to portray characters that aren't white. It's not even like a representation issue at this point. It's more just like being a dumbass and not knowing what the book is about. Like, come on, you can't do a little bit of research. Number 7, what are some books you feel should have more recognition? The first book that comes to my mind for that would be We Are Okay by Nina LaCour. This is the first YA contemporary novel that I have actually really enjoyed. And that's surprising to me because I typically don't like any contemporary YA. That's actually the one book that I felt like I could relate to the most. It was about a girl who moved from California to the East Coast, and it was really about her spending time alone by herself in her college campus while everyone was away for the holidays. A lot of my holidays were like that, actually. So there was some stuff going on with her family. The way that the author described her loneliness was very simple, but also very effective. It felt very real and authentic and very relatable for a lot of my life, actually. So I really enjoyed it, but for some reason, I don't really think it's that discussed that often. I've seen so much other YA contemporary books that get hyped up, but I don't know. There's something about this one that's just very quiet and very real. So maybe that's why it's not spoken up about as much, because no crazy shit happens in the book, but sometimes that's life, you know? That's why it was such an accurate portrayal of depression, because it's really less about crazy traumatic shit, and sometimes it's just about the quiet loneliness that your girl feels. I thought it was very well done. It's just not talked about that often for some reason. And also, the cover is really pretty. Why isn't anybody talking about that? Number 8, what are your thoughts on censorship and banning books? I don't understand this question, because why would you ask this type of question to people who read books? Like, of course people are gonna say that they don't believe in banning books. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get it. So, not gonna bother. I mean, my answer is pretty much the same as everyone else's. And yeah, so moving on to the last question, which is who do you tag? I am gonna tag Noria Reads because she loves doing book tags. So at least somebody who actually does book tags can finally do it instead of this girl. I don't know if this video was actually interesting or not. I feel like I didn't really spill any tea. So yeah, the moral of the lesson is stop tagging me and shit. I know that I've been tagged a lot of times and I haven't done anything, but there's a reason for that. And it's because I'm not entertaining enough for that shit. But hopefully this weird ass hairstyle was entertaining enough for you to get through this video. Goodbye. I almost choked while I was saying that. I don't know why I have a problem with choking today. So I'm gonna stop before I pass out. Goodbye. I'm so tired of love songs, tired of love songs, tired of love songs, tired of love. Just wanna go home, wanna go home, wanna go home. Oh, so tired of love songs, tired of love songs, tired of love songs, tired of love. Just wanna go home, wanna go home.